Hey guys, it's Eric, owner of Farpoint Farms, and today we're going to be talking about ways to make extra money. I'm a homesteader and I'm a small farmer. I do work part-time, but my main focus is here at the house, taking care of the animals, taking care of the property, taking care of the vegetables, stuff like that. As a result, working part-time, you don't make as much as full-time, and even for many of us out there that work full-time jobs, money is always tight, and who couldn't use a little extra, correct? Well, today I'm going to show you one of the ways that I make extra money here at the farm. Having a good skill set, a blue collar or gray collar skill set, is an excellent advantage if you're going to make extra money on the side. I am going to be talking today about flipping cars. I flip cars. When I worked full-time, I flipped cars then. When I work part-time, I flip cars now. I don't flip as many because the location I'm in and the climate and a variety of reasons, flipping cars just not as simple, not as easy to do. But when the right car comes along, I'm there. If you watched my video on my old yellow Volkswagen Beetle, that was a car that I purchased, put a lot of love into, kept it for a while, but then eventually flipped and made a good amount of money on. That's the game of flipping cars. It's being in the right place at the right time, finding the right car, being able to fix that car, and then being able to turn around and make a profit on it in a reasonable amount of time. For some people, flipping cars means taking a car, buying it, driving it for a year or two, and then turning around and reselling it, either at even or slight increase of money. That's called driving for free, and that's certainly something that I did back when I lived in a larger city. Out here in the mountains, however, I buy cars solely for the purpose of reselling. And I've just come across one, so I'm going to take you outside here in a second and show it to you. It's a little Ford Ranger that I picked up. Again, right place, right time. I got this vehicle for $200, and I think once you take a look at it, you'll agree it's a perfect candidate for flipping, and I will show you why. So let's go on outside. We'll do that right now, and then we'll come back in, and we'll come back in a few days or a few weeks when the car sells, and we'll talk about what I ended up getting for it, show you some pictures of it.
All right, so like I was talking about, this is what $200 will buy you. I'll do a quick walk around. Now I've already washed this. I haven't waxed it or buffed it. I'm going to remove these pinstriping. And I have a couple pictures, and here they are here. They don't really do much justice to just how dirty this truck was. But still, it's not terrible. It certainly has no rust on it, which is kind of unusual up here in the mountains. But it was dirty. I don't think it had been washed in probably maybe 3 years or so. Definitely a little work truck. $200. Got a bed liner in it. It's in pretty good shape. Sliding rear glass. It's an extended cab. Go ahead and open up the door here. Now again, I've already vacuumed out the inside, so I do need to clean the carpets, but it's not bad. Of course, it looked really, really, really rough when I bought it. Again, probably hadn't been vacuumed in 3 or 4 years. And the guy was a heavy smoker, so it had that film in it, but not bad. Got the factory CD player in there. It works. It's a 5-speed manual. It's a nice basic model. The XLT had manual locks and manual door handles, manual locks, manual windows, and really, I know a lot of people are into gadgets, but the best cars to own are ones with manual windows and manual locks, because that's less stuff to break. Manually adjusted seats like this. Very inexpensive to fix when they do break, but very rarely do they break. So, not a bad interior. Again, I have vacuumed. I probably spent about an hour on the inside cleaning and vacuuming. Got some more work to do on the carpets, and we'll put down some floor mats, but night and day compared to what it was. Engine is a little 2.3 liter 4-cylinder. Ford made this engine for years and years and years. It was in the 4-cylinder Mustangs. It was in quite a variety of cars and trucks, I think, over the years. Maybe even the Pinto it might have started off as. I washed it, but other than that, I hadn't really done much other than putting the timing belt on, which is how I got my hands on it in the first place. Now, this guy had spent a ton of money on this truck and just finally gave up. And I really felt bad for him. The car has 187 450. Now, at 185, he did an oil change and had the transmission pulled out. We drained and refilled it. Put a new clutch in, a new slave cylinder, a new throwout bearing. We did a coolant flush, did a brake system flush, and obviously a clutch slave cylinder flush. I think we even did power steering. Yeah, power steering. So we made it 2,200 miles, let's call it. No, not even. Wow. And the timing belt broke, and he gave up on it. Also at 185, he also put 4 brand new hand-cooked tires on it. Not only did he do that, he put new front pads and front rotors and rear pads and rear shoes on this truck. He put about $4,000 into this truck. And 2,000 miles later, the timing belt broke, and he decided he'd had enough. So I picked it up for $200, put a $41 timing belt kit into it, drove it home the same night. I did fix an exhaust leak. And other than that, it's just going to require some cleaning. So when it comes to flipping cars, obviously having a keen eye is important. Being in the right place at the right time is important. But just because I got this because I work at a shop doesn't mean that cars like this don't come along on Craigslist or, you know, in the local newspaper ads. They do. Usually they're not running. So if you're handy, that's where luck comes in, or luck leaves and skill comes in. Putting a timing belt on this car would have cost this gentleman almost over $600 with tax and everything, timing belt and tensioner, and it cost me $41 on Amazon.
Okay, so here we are back in the building, and that means the car is sold. In the end, I sold this vehicle for $2,200. I had about 430 in it. Let's do a little quick math. 21, 20, 19, 18. My gosh, that would be $1,770. That's a huge profit for someone who put exactly 8 hours of their life and $430 of their money into a flip. So how did I do it? It's simple. Here's some pictures of it before, right? We showed those earlier in the video, and here they are afterwards. A lot of spit and polish. Okay, the vehicle was sound to begin with. It didn't have major body damage. It wasn't rusted out. It just had some mechanical problems, and a lot of those problems had already been somewhat addressed, if not fully addressed. By finishing it up and knowing what car to purchase in the first place, I was able to make that kind of money, and that's a great thing. If you have any questions on how to flip cars, feel free to contact me in the messages below or send me a private message. I'll do my best to help you. Here where I live in this state, you're allowed to do about 8 of these a year. Now, when I lived in a larger city, I did do quite a few a year. There was 3 years in a row where I did 8 cars a year. Up here in the mountains, 3 is the max I've ever sold up here in a year. Partially because I'm really busy with other projects, which is one of the reasons I haven't been making videos lately. It's just too much stuff going on. I've got too many irons in the fire. But between being busy and the fact that it's a smaller crowd, farther distances, car sales are a little harder up here. This one just happened to be ideal. Before I even had the pinstriping off the sides, like I said I was going to do, before I had actually even gotten the title back, the car was clean. I wanted to put a few miles on to make sure it was good, but I was going out of town. I let my wife drive the vehicle. She took it to work with a sticker in the window, you know, explaining that it was for sale, what had been done to it. And on the very first day, 4 people came forward interested in that car, and one of them went home a winner. So the day that they wanted to sign the title over, it ended up working out perfectly because the title arrived the day that they were needed the car by. Thank God for that. So all's well that ends well. That's it. I'm Eric, owner of Farpoint Farms. If you feel like maybe this is something you could do, and you don't have to be a master tech in order to do this, flipping cars or trucks, that's something that you can do, that you can buy a perfectly good running car that's just rough, that just hasn't been taken care of, just doesn't look good. How does it present itself? If it's poor, you can fix it up visually and resell it and make money. I hope you'll take this to heart, and again, if you have questions, let me know, and take care.